I write, in the book I am writing about myself. I too am a broken American male. We have to have the right values. It's all about the right values. And I think if you find strength and you get your convictions back, you will prosper professionally. You will come back to TV and you will make a big impact. But you will do it this time and actually feel purposeful. And you won't always be looking at the guy who has the better slot and the bigger audience. You will be content to contribute your gift.
Thank you.
Okay.
Rabbi Boteach, that's very good. I appreciate it.
In the meantime, I don't mean to have to do this to Rick here in public, but I just do have to make an announcement that CNN gave me your slot today. And we came up with a very original, it's called Shmuley's List.
Shmuley's List.
But I want you to be happy for me. Okay, let's go to questions. Go ahead.
¿Cómo estás, amigo?
Muy bien, muchas gracias.
Thank you. It's about as much as I understand. Two good points. Number one, you were referring to the National Socialist Movement of Minnesota, and yes, unfortunately, they are very much alive and well. Next point, I honestly think there's like a witch hunt by special interest groups, both on the right and on the left, to go after, like, literally pick even the most minuscule mistakes a radio or TV host, makes, and just they just want to, fire them. Why do they do it, and why do the stations fall for that?
I do believe, and I think we're in agreement on this, that to a certain extent, the media, we've become birds on a wire. You know, when you see all the crows lined up on the wire, and as soon as they see something, they all just scoop down, and in an effort to get their share of the, whatever it is they're scooping down to eat, they don't necessarily take any time to understand the issue. And I've been guilty of it myself, by the way. I think sometimes we're too hasty, we're too quick to judge, and we do live in a society today that seems to relish in people's misfortune. There's some people who some of the things I've read have made me feel like some of the people who were writing to me were so happy that I had fallen, and it made me wonder why they were thinking that way, but it is what it is, and I can't control what people think. Neither can you, or neither can anyone else here.
Oh, I can, actually.
How's that?
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, hi.
By the way, if you are a journalist, please identify yourself as such. If you're not, that's fine.
Yeah, well, I am a journalist, but I cover the biotech industry. Point of order, I was a classmate of Rick's. I haven't seen him in 30 years at the University of Minnesota. You're absolutely right, Rabbi, Jon Sterling. Not the Yankee guy, unfortunately.
Oh my God, John.
There's not a prejudicial bone in this guy's body. He's a decent, hard-working guy. Out of the whole class, he was already working as a cameraman. I think it was KSTP.
That's right.
He was the only guy in the class already working in the media. So he's a serious journalist, and he was very dedicated even at that point. So I think, how all this mess happened, I don't know, and hopefully he'll get out of this. But I want to address another point and something.
God bless you, by the way, man. That's wow. To have somebody come up like that.
I work with you. The point I want to address, though, is in one of these meetings I meant about the second-class citizen, the way they view you. When we all left Minnesota '82, and I lost track of everybody, I think you were the only one who sort of made it at the national level. I was in Miami one day in the early '90s, and I'm shaving, and I hear this voice, and I say to my wife, Jesus, I think I know that guy. And there's Rick, and he's the lead anchor in Miami. And then I think you also had a talk show down there.
That's right.
And as you know, the future in broadcasting is cable. The networks are dinosaurs, they're dying. And yet you've had anchor jobs at MSNBC and CNN. So, and those are very high-profile jobs. So when you say you're treated as a second-class citizen, I just have trouble squaring that. And you've had these really great jobs that some of us would give our left finger for.
Did you talk to my wife before you asked that question? Rabbi Boteach and I talked about this last night, that sometimes we are that way, wanting perhaps more than we have. And it doesn't matter what you have. No matter where you are, you still think you want to get something else. And I had a tendency, perhaps, to be that way. And it was, John, it was probably foolish on my part. But, it's what I thought.
I just wrote a book last year called The Blessing of Enough. America has every blessing except one. It does not have the blessing of enough. It's never enough. Next question, please. Okay, please.
I'm Maxine Gilbert. I am a writer in the Jewish World with the album manager. You make me so disgusted. You are so selfish. I cannot tell you how deeply offended you've made me. I walked out of PIX because my husband was laying in the hospital with a brain tumor, and as a young woman, a very young woman, I didn't get a second chance. Joan Hamburg spoke about the glass ceiling because she knew what had happened. You don't get the chance that you want necessarily, and you had them, and you have achieved. I don't take away from your achievement. I take away from your selfishness. How dare you? How dare you take this level of achievement in media, a national level as your classmate knows, and think that you have to be so sensitive when you put yourself, as the rabbi noted, in the public forum. What a level of deep selfishness. This isn't insecurity. This is narcissism of the first order. I've not seen it as so rapidly displayed as you have managed to do.
You know, I'm going to jump in for a second, then you're going to answer. Hi, Maxine, how are you?
Hi.
This is an interesting comment, because I actually think that although I would disagree with Maxine's the tone of her question and the vociferousness with which she's arguing her point, this is a phenomenal opportunity for you to accept that what she's saying is not really a big deal. I've been called a narcissist. You see, when you were called something by Jon Stewart, you couldn't handle it. So what you did was, you made it 10 times worse, and you ended up being called a racist, bigot, anti-Semitic. And that sucks. So this is a way, in my opinion, of saying, you know what, that's your opinion of me, and there's probably some truth to it. I think there's elements of narcissism in my character that I have to try to fight. No big deal. I think you're a bit strenuous about it, Maxine. But this is part of taking criticism, even when it's live. Do you really care being called a narcissist? Most people in media have narcissistic tendencies, but being called an anti-Semite, that's kind of serious. That's my whole point. You know, there's a famous, I'm sorry, I just want to introduce a Talmudic concept here. There's something called a miko in Talmudic law. Here's how it works. And the Talmud is very interesting. If I come to you and I say, Rick, where's the $1,000 that you owe me? You know, I lent you $1,000. You say, Shmuley, it was $500 and I paid it back. We come before court, there's no witnesses. Who do we believe? We believe you. The reason? Migo means since. Since you could have denied the entire debt. We believe you when you confessed to half of it and you paid it, because you could have denied it. Since you can accept some criticism, that means that you're not a narcissist, because narcissists can't accept criticism, and that's why you have to demonstrate to the Maxines of this world that you can handle it. I can't tell you the level of vitriol I face sometimes from my own community. And to be honest, whatever flaws I have, I've given my life to my people because I love my people. I really do. I love my Judaism. I'd like to believe I love all of humanity, but especially my people. And I still get attacked and savaged.
I want to thank you for pointing out my failings, Maxine. And I want you to know that I will work hard to become better.
No, I question.
Okay, let's go to another question.
I question.
Okay, next
I
question.
Let's go to the next question.
Make
Said
a
your
final-
question.
She's heard the
Don't say-
question. She said the
Maxine.
Reiterate it.
In 20 seconds, finish your point and we're going to move on, okay?
In 20 seconds, look at all Hispanic, Jews, blacks, green, purple, who have worked as hard as you have and harder, and not made this level, and be thankful and be gracious.
You're right.
But Maxine, will you not at least agree, this is not limited to Rick Sanchez. It's an American epidemic. None of us have enough. We collapsed the world's largest economy by wanting houses that were bigger and cars that were newer and more money. You're right, but it's not Rick Sanchez. It's all of us. It's an American malady. Newsweek magazine did a brilliant cover story 3 weeks ago that said that we have no money left and we are addicted to spending. So let's be honest. I take your point, and it's probably true of me as well, but because I would like more. But it's probably more general than what you're saying, I would say. Go ahead, please.
I just want to make a little statement first. I'm a comedian. My name is Angry Bob. And, I worked with Rick Sanchez a few times on CNN, and I just want to say what a fun time and how wonderful it was working with this man. I think there's like a pervasive schadenfreude in our society where people just they're gleeful when people fall for no reason whatsoever. And they're very slow to forgive or understand what a situation is. I mean, I can tell